When we design a readiness-based task, maybe we gathered some formative assessment information, we know we have kids in different places, to think about what to do for the top group first. And to design, like, okay, these kids, they really get it. And if they were going to really fly with it, what would they do? And if we come up with that top activity first and then scaffold up, we have a better chance of making sure everybody's doing something engaging. I think for me, a big lesson for me is I tried to start in the middle, and then I would just give the advanced kids more work and give the struggling kids, a little less work, and that wasn't an efficient way to do it. When I changed my thinking and started with the top task first, and then try to do whatever I could to bring the other groups up to doing something that approximated that task or looked like that task when they were finished, maybe with just some more support than the advanced group got, that made everything feel better. I felt better, the kids felt better, and I think that everybody felt like they were doing something meaningful. When providing scaffolding for high school students, we want to think about where their area of need is. If they're struggling with reading, then some scaffolding perhaps might be an article on the same topic, but on maybe a more readable level. It also might be a text that's highlighted with the key points so that they are directed to what's important. I know that if I went to a country where I did not speak the language and was given a textbook and told to read an entire chapter, I probably would try really hard and get maybe one paragraph in and not understand anything. But if somebody gave me something with the key passages highlighted, just the key things I needed to concentrate on, it would probably take me as much time as it took the native speakers to read that, but I would actually get something from it. And so that's an example of scaffolding that I think you could use with English language learners or anyone who's really struggling to read. If we have kids in our class who are still struggling, let's face it, secondary kids are still struggling with their multiplication facts. And oftentimes we hand them a calculator for scaffolding, but that's not building the patterns in for them. And I have seen some teachers of mathematics provide the times tables, the multiplication tables for their secondary students. So they start seeing the patterns. Oh, look, 6 times 4 is really just 6 more than 6 times 3, and it starts making sense in their heads instead of just isolated problems that they see on the screen of a calculator. And so that's some scaffolding that we can give folks as they're working problems. We can outline steps for kids. Some kids don't need that, and we want them to find their own way in the problem, but we're going to have some kids that need some more support than that. And so giving them each step and then asking them to think about that while still working towards a meaningful problem-solving experience, I think is a really good way to scaffold their process. Graphic organizers are great. Some kids might not need a graphic organizer. Some kids might need a graphic organizer. We can even tailor the graphic organizers to make them a little more accessible. All kinds of pretty low prep things we can do to give students kind of the boost they need to be able to do a similar task that maybe a more advanced group is doing. It's often the case that students whom we consider to be advanced are not advanced in every area. Just because we have a student who can read like an expert doesn't mean that they can write like an expert or think outside of the box. And so sometimes we're going to have to give our advanced, whom we consider to be our advanced students, some extra support to help them in their areas of weakness.